Every gun guy swears he's got the list. This one's the most reliable, that one's the only carry piece worth owning, the rest are junk. You've heard it all. But most of those lists, they're noise, hype, paid reviews. This one's different. These 10 handguns aren't about flex or fan clubs. They're the ones that actually matter in 2025. Pistols that cover every corner. Concealed carry, home defense, the range, competition, even that one you'll keep because it'll still be running when your grandkids are grown. Some of these picks are obvious, some will make you mad, and a couple are going to feel like a punch in the gut if you've been running your mouth out of the range. But that's the point. It's the truth shooters are proving with their cash and their trigger time. So don't bail early. By the time we hit number one, you'll either be nodding along or staring at your safe, wondering why the hell you don't own it yet. You don't expect a check import to crack the top 10 in 2025, but here it is, muscling past pistols with bigger names and louder fan clubs. The P10C doesn't ride on hype, it just slips into the charts and leaves people asking, wait, how did that happen? Dealers told me the same story. They don't stock piles of them, but every time one shows up, it's gone before the weekend. No sales banners, no bundled gimmicks, just a shooter picking it up, running a mag, and suddenly the clerk's taping the box shut. That's respect earned the hard way. Why does it belong in every shooter's safe this year? Simple. It checks boxes folks usually split between 3 different pistols. Reliable like a Glock, crisp trigger like a high-end match gun, ergonomics that actually feel like they were designed for a human hand. And it does all that without bleeding your wallet dry. The P10C isn't loud, it isn't flashy, but put it on the bench next to your so-called favorite, and more often than not, it makes the other pistol look sloppy. That's why it kicks this list off at number 10. Most shooters forget this thing even exists. Ask 10 guys at the range about the FN503, and half of them will tilt their head like you made the model number up. And yet, September proved it's still moving. Not in flashy numbers, not in hype storms, but steady, quiet, like background noise you can't turn off. Why? Because not everybody's chasing capacity wars or optics cuts. Some buyers just want a slim pistol from a company that builds duty guns for armies, and that's exactly what the 503 is. A stripped down, no nonsense carry piece. No gimmicks, no Instagram bragging rights. Just a flat little FN that disappears under a t-shirt and runs when you need it. Dealers told me they don't push it. It sells itself to a certain kind of buyer. Usually older shooters who've had their fill of polymer toys or first-timers who trust the effing name more than internet chatter. The 503 isn't trying to win the spotlight. It's the pistol that survives by being overlooked, and that's exactly why it's here at number 9. And if a ghost gun like this can hang on, wait until you see who clawed into the next spot. This ain't your pocket gun, and it damn sure ain't the piece you tuck under a hoodie for a gas station run. The Max 2.0 was built for one thing, smoking timers and making everybody else at the range feel slow. Pick it up and you'll feel it right away. Heavy as a brick with that tungsten grip, slide that runs like it's on rails, and a trigger that breaks so clean it almost feels unfair. This thing don't whisper, it barks, keep up, or get out of the lane. I watched a dude run it once. First mag, he looked nervous. Second mag, he was grinning like he stole something. Third mag, he's walking away, bragging like he just unlocked cheat codes. That's what this pistol does. It flat out makes you better whether you're ready or not. Now, yes, it's not practical. Nobody's carrying this boat anchor, and it'll eat your wallet alive, but every shooter needs at least one pistol that's pure fun and performance, and the Max 2.0 is exactly that. And if a loud, heavy race gun like this can muscle into number 8, just wait until you see the scrappy little survivor holding down the next spot. Everybody talks capacity wars these days. 17 rounds in a Micro 9 or don't bother. The G43X MOS don't play that game. It walks in with 10 rounds, shrugs, and says, "Yeah, but I'll still be here when the dust clears." This pistol is slim, barely over an inch wide, and yet it gives you a grip that actually fits your hand. It's not a toy or even a pinky dangler. It's a real shooter's grip. Add in the MOS cut on top, throw a red dot on it, and suddenly your little carry piece feels like a full-size running in miniature. Now, it's not perfect, don't get us wrong. Stock max cap you at 10, and folks whine about that. Yes, Shield Arms S15s give you more, but sometimes you're rolling dice on reliability. The recoil's snappier than a 19, and Glock stock sights are still boring as hell, but you know why it made this list? Because it's stubborn. Sig tried to bury it with the P365, Springfield tried to outshine it with the Hellcat, and yet the G43X MOS still sells, still carries, still rides every holster rack in the country. It's the pistol that just refuses to quit. And if Glock Slimline Survivor can hold down 7, wait until you see the rough around the edges workhorse squatting in the next shot. Nobody daydreams about owning a Taurus G2C. You don't see it hanging in gun shop posters, and nobody's flexing it on Instagram, but walk into a shop with $300 in your pocket and a carry permit burning a hole in your wallet, guess what pistol you're walking out with? 9 times out of 10, it's the G2C. This thing's the definition of a beater gun. Polymer frame, double stack mags, 12 rounds ready to roll. It'll hiccup now and then. Stovepipe here, failure to feed there, especially with cheap ammo, but it's not a paperweight. Do your part, it'll do its part. And if it gets scratched, dropped, or rides in a glove box for months, who cares? That's the whole point. Dealers don't pitch it, they just unbox it, slap a tag on it, and watch it vanish right before their eyes. Folks buy it because it's affordable, available, and good enough. And every shooter should own one gun like that. The pistol you don't cry over, the one you can abuse, loan to a buddy, or toss in a truck without thinking twice. It's not pretty, but it gets carried, and that's why the G2C sits here at number 6. There are pistols you brag about at the range, and then there's the one you actually have when trouble finds you. That's the Ruger LCP. This little 380 disappears in a pocket, weighs less than a fast food burger, and still throws 7 rounds down range when it counts. Nobody likes shooting it. The recoil's snappy, the sights suck, and your hand feels like it got slapped after a few mags, but you don't buy an LCP to have fun. You buy it because it's there when bigger guns aren't. I'll never forget watching an older guy at the range. He pulled out a tiny 380, said it was the pistol his wife carried for 10 years. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't powerful, but it was the gun she always had on her. He grinned and said, "That little thing gave her more confidence than anything else I ever bought her." That's the 380 story. It's not about ego, it's about being armed when it matters. The Ruger LCP ain't much to look at, but don't let that fool you. That little mouse gun's pulled more folks out of trouble than most care to admit. And if something that small earns a place at number 5, well, you best hang on, because number 4 is gonna bite a whole lot harder. Not every pistol needs an army of fanboys screaming for it. Some guns just stand tall on their own, and the Walther PDP Compact is one of those. Pick it up and you'll see it feels planted like it just belongs in your hand. First few rounds downrange and you get it. The recoil settles quick, the trigger snaps clean, and the sights track right back where they should. No gimmicks, no learning curve, just control. That's why shooters who try it don't give it back, they walk out with one. It's not the loudest pistol on the shelf, and it doesn't need to be. It's the steady mover, the one that keeps slipping into holsters across the country because folks trust it after the first magazine. Dealers say the same. Every batch moves, not because it's cheap, not because it's flashy, but because it works. Every shooter should own one pistol that just delivers without excuses. The PDP Compact earned its spot the hard way. Trigger pulls, brass on the floor, targets punched clean. That's why it sits at number 4. And if this steady hitter holds the line here, the top 3 are going to bring nothing but heat. I didn't buy into the hype at first. Another new pistol, another fancy name. But when you strip this thing down, that's when you see what Springfield was really doing. The fire control unit drops out clean, the guts look solid, and you realize you're not holding some copycat, you're holding something that can be rebuilt, reshaped, and run any way you want. That's a big deal if you actually shoot and don't just pose with guns. Now on the line, the Echelon feels balanced, not top heavy, not sloppy in the grip. Recoil stays flat, sights climb and drop right back where you want them, trigger breaks like it's been tuned, but it's straight from the box. First time I ran it, I caught myself grinning, and that doesn't happen often. I've seen shooters scoff at it same way I did. Just another Springfield. Then they drop a mag and stop talking. That's how this pistol wins. Not with ads, not with loud fans, but with results on paper. Why, you ask, should this pistol be yours? Because every collection demands a weapon that provides fresh steel that can shake the very hall. The Echelon doesn't arrive to fade into shadows. No, it declares its place and it's here to endure. Walk into any gun shop in America, ask what's moving, and the answer doesn't change. Glock 19s. Doesn't matter if the shelves are packed with shiny new toys. The 19 Gen 5 is always walking out the door. Dealers don't even pitch it. Folks ask for it by name, toss down the cash, and leave with that same plastic box under their arm. Cops carry it, first-timers buy it, old hands keep a spare one in the case. Why? Because it just runs. Doesn't care if you clean it or not. Doesn't care what ammo you feed it. I've seen 19s tracked through mud, rained on, dropped on concrete, and they just keep spitting brass like nothing ever happened. It's not fancy and not delicate. It's a tool, and that's all it needs to be. Every shooter should own one because it's the baseline. You measure other pistols against it, whether you admit it or not. Ask around at any range, and someone's running a 19. Some love it, some hate it, but nobody ignores it. You don't have to like it if you don't want to, but if you don't own a Glock 19 Gen 5, you're missing the one pistol everybody else measures by. This pistol ain't American, it ain't even Austrian, and it damn sure ain't German. And that right here is why it pisses people off. Turkey built it, and the old guard hates admitting it runs with their high-dollar toys. Folks love to spit cheap plastic like it's a curse. Oh yeah? Well then explain why the targets look cleaner when this thing's on the line. Explain why dealers can't keep them boxed for more than a week. They show up, they vanish, and it's not hype. It's shooters handing it to buddies and saying, shut up and try it. Flat trigger, long slide, optics cut from the factory. But you know what really matters? It feels right. Doesn't choke, doesn't stutter, just runs. Guys drop double the money on some Eurogun and then get red in the face when a Canik keeps pace. Every shooter should own one because it's proof that borders don't mean a damn thing when the brass hits the floor. The SFX Pro didn't crawl into the market, it came swinging, fists up, middle finger high. That's why it's numero uno. You don't baby this pistol, you run it hard, drop it, scratch it up, and it still begs for more. That's the M&P9 2.0 Compact in metal. Same trusted frame as the Polymer brother, but this version feels like it was born to take abuse and come back swinging. On the court, that weight changes the whole game. Recoils calmer, sights track smoother, and follow-up stack tighter. It doesn't feel twitchy or flimsy. It feels planted, steady, like it's daring you to shoot faster. It doesn't need fancy marketing or fanboys screaming about it online. It earns respect the old way. Magazine after magazine, no excuses, no failures. At the shop, it's not the flashiest pistol on the market, but ask dealers and they'll tell you the folks who buy one don't trade it back in. They keep it, carry it, and trust it. And I'll be straight with you. Out of this whole list, this one's my personal favorite. When I open the safe, this is the one I reach for first. The M&P9 2.0 Compact Metal isn't trying to impress. It's here to outlast, and that's why it locks down the 0 spot. You already saw the Sig P320 Max 2.0 back at number 8. Big, heavy, built to burn the clock. The P365, that one already flipped the carry market on its head. Then Sig said, screw it, let's make it bigger, louder, meaner. And then I present to you the X-Macro. 17 rounds in a gun this slim? That ain't normal. Most pistols this size tap out early, but the X-Macro stuffs in full capacity firepower without bulking it up like a duty gun. It carries like a micro, fights like a service pistol. At the factory comp and optics ready slide, and you've got one of the flattest shooting carry pieces out there. I've seen guys pick it up thinking it's just another P365, then they light it off and realize they're holding something closer to a race gun that still hides under a t-shirt. Why is it here? Because every shooter should own one pistol that feels like it's cheating. The X-Macro is that pistol. Small enough to carry every day, big enough to end the fight if it ever comes. Every list needs one wild card. The guns folks laugh at when you pull it out and then suddenly get real quiet once they run a mag. That's the bastard Kel-Tec P-57. It's chambered in 5.7 by 28mm, the same spicy little round that effing made famous. Flat shooting, fast, and stacked 20 deep in the mag. The pistol itself looks half sci-fi, half plastic toy, and that's why shooters clown it until they shoot it. I remember one buddy at the range. He smirked, called it a Nerf blaster. 2 mags later, he was grinning like he had stolen something. Soft recoil, easy follow-up, and that feeling of holding something nobody else brought. This ain't your everyday carry. It ain't the one you bet your life on, but it's the pistol you keep to prove that weird don't mean weak. Every safe needs a curveball, and that's the P-57. That's all 13 pistols in a list that only promised 10. Some you expected, some you probably didn't, but that's the fun of it. The gun world never sits still. There's always another surprise, another fight for the top spot. Keep your safe stocked, keep your mags loaded, and don't get too comfortable. Because next year, half this list could be different. Half of you are already fired up. Ready to argue? Good. That's how it should be. Guns aren't about polite lists. They're about the truth you see when the brass hits the floor. So tell me, which pistol on here would you stake your life on, and which one do you think doesn't even deserve a holster? Drop it below. I'll be in the comments, and don't back down from a fight. I'm Steve. And remember, pride fades, hype dies, but the pistol that never fails, that one stays. See you in the next one.